ChadArmesTV, and we are back with another sit-down interview. And we've got an artist here that I not only have had the pleasure of working with on some music, but this is a dude that's been grinding for 10, 15 years, and super talented dude. We got my boy CremRo Smith in the building.
All right, what's happening, man?
Man, glad we're finally sitting down and doing this,
Man,
bro. It's been
I'm
something we've been talking about.
Yeah. Number one, dog, I just want to congratulate you on what you got going on and let you know how much I appreciate you giving me an opportunity to tell pieces of my journey, man. It means a lot, bro.
No, for sure, bro. We're glad to be able to do it, man. And just like we do these ChadArmesTV interviews, man, we're just going to start from the beginning. So you want to tell the people kind of like where you was born and raised, where you grew up, kind of stuff like that?
Yeah, for sure. I was born in Pensacola, Florida, in the Panhandle, and grew up around that way. My mom was from Alabama, so I went back and forth a lot. And in 2010, I moved to Orlando to kind of spread my wings, musically. And I feel like I was born in Nicola, but like I became a man in Orlando and Kissimmee. Yeah.
So growing up in Florida, what was home life like growing up as a kid in Florida?
It was good, man. I came from a broken home like a lot of us did. Divorced parents, but they divorced early, so they always talked pretty good about each other, so that was a blessing.
Yeah, it wasn't like a lot of back and forth you had to watch.
And and they were both hard workers. My pops was long live my daddy, man. He was a wholesale wall covering salesman, so he grew up on the road, going city to city and marketing his brand and his business. And my mama was in the blind business, so she worked for different apartment communities and set up blinds in the apartments and stuff like that. So they both were salespeople and grinders, so I feel like I inherited that. From them.
That's cool. Yeah. Brother, you got any siblings?
I have one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was that so? Growing up in Florida, did you get into sports or anything like that?
Yeah, I played ball, played baseball, basketball. Like Hatch say, like Boosie say, littlest thing on the court, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I love playing ball, man. Basketball and baseball. Yeah.
What would you say you liked more? Was you more into basketball or baseball?
Basketball.
Basketball.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I was in that Allen Iverson, Jason Williams era.
Me too, bro. White chocolate, dog.
Man, come on, man.
Dude.
Yeah, and then he actually came to the Magic for a few years in Orlando, and we watched him in 2010 go all the way almost to the Cup with Kobe. Kobe ended up eliminated, but that was Dwight Howard, Jameer Nelson, J.J. Redick.
That was towards the end of his career, which sucked because his career was short.
Yeah,
he was so fire, bro.
A lot of people don't know he went to the University of Florida.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what I remember because I'm a huge, obviously like. Me being from here, but I'm a huge Vanderbilt fan, so I remember I used to hate when we had to play them a couple times because he was only there 1 year or two.
One.
Yeah, he didn't stay long.
Yeah,
but
he got in some trouble for some reefer, I think.
Yeah,
allegedly.
It was something like that. Yeah, I remember that. But he.
He went to high school with Randy Moss.
Yep.
In Virginia.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah, man.
So, growing up, you said everything. You played sports, stuff like that. So,
sure.
What do you remember being your first memories of like music as far as when you heard music and you was like, man, and you could feel like it was making you feel a type of way, and it doesn't even have to be rap, whatever it may have been.
Man,
remember like how early on that would have been?
I had the Silk the Shocker tape, cassette tape. It's called The Shocker.
Oh yeah,
I had purple cover. Yeah, I had that, and my partner from Marrero from New Orleans, long live my brother Leonard, he gave me Get It How You Live, the album, the Hot Boys album. Yeah. And some about the title record, Get It How You Live, and 50 Shots Gonna Set It Off. It touched me, man. That album was the Blood Thicker record. Like, just that album really touched me, man. So we started recording on a karaoke machine and a cassette tape. And that's when I made my first cassette. I was in like 2001.
Oh, that's fire, dude.
Yeah, we made our first cassette.
Yeah, and that Hot Boys, that 50 Shots Set It Off record, to me, it's still it may be my favorite Hot Boys song. Mm-hmm. I love that second album, the Guerrilla Warfare too. But I'm like you though, that was when Manny Fresh was in his early bag, dog.
Crazy. And
that early Manny Fresh, dude, still to this day, is some of the best production.
True.
To me, rap wise.
Yeah.
Who were your influences coming up when you started doing music?
Well, like we said, Hot Boys for sure. But like my early influences were from my hometown, from Pensacola. So like shout out to Boneface, he's an incredible artist. OG Third Degree. Remy Red, Luke Kane, like those guys, they were pioneers in my city. Matter of fact, the first rap group ever in Pensacola was the Rated PGs, Pensacola Gangsters. That was Dynamite D and Teddy Wheat. They were the first group ever signed to Bodyhead. So Roy signed them first.
Gotcha.
Roy signed them first, so they had some traction in the city, but they were the first original pioneers. And their younger brother is Boneface. He's still like my big bro to this day. And so those guys definitely, heavily influenced me coming up. Watching those guys, yeah.
But is that so? When did you start feeling like what you was listening to and stuff like that? When did you start like thinking maybe this is something I want to try? Did you start writing early, or was you freestyling, or how did that work?
Yeah, I was writing pretty early, and we recorded that cassette tape. I took it to school, let some people hear it. My buddy had an F-150 with a tape player. We weren't mixing anything. We were just stacking vocals on vocals, But to hear my voice come out of the speaker on a tape, man, I was like, man, this is kind of cool. So I let my homie hear it. He was like, man, you got a little something, So I just stuck with it from there.
Yeah. And how old were you at this time? Was this high school?
Yeah, 14.
Okay, yes,
13,
early. Yeah, so
14, something like that. Yeah, we took a Pop-Tart box and opened up both ends of it. Put the karaoke mic in there, and then we took pantyhose and put it over the Pop-Tart box for a pop filter.
Pop filter, they used to get the job done back in the day, dog.
Yeah, egg crates on the wall.
Yeah, egg crates for sure. That's all stuff I remember back in the day, man.
Mm-hmm.
So you started doing that at 14, 15. Do you remember when you put together like something that you was like, okay, this is maybe something that I really do want? Because at first when you was doing that, was it just stuff y'all were doing to pass the time?
Yeah, it was just paying homage. Paying homage. We had a little group called Primetime Jits, and JIT is like it's an acronym, but it's also like a saying in Florida or in the South, like for a youth, for a young individual.
Yeah.
So we had Primetime Jits, and I could tell I was taking it a little more serious than my other two homies, because like when they would go eat dinner, I'd stay in the room and write, and.
It was hitting a little bit different with you, so you could.
Yeah, I was honing in on it, man. I always felt like I had a story to tell, bro. Like, I really always felt that way. Yeah. So music has saved my life so many times, and that was one of them. Like, man, you really have something. So it's been a blessing, man.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure.
So your first project that you remember, and it may not be stuff that's available or nothing on streaming platforms, but do you remember the first project that you put together and like said, this is my first CD or mixtape? Because back then it was mixtape. Everything was mixtapes.
Yeah. I got locked up in end of 2005, and I got out at the end of 2006. And I wrote a lot while I was locked up.
Yeah.
And so I put out this tape called The Pure Preview.
Yeah.
I had like this little label called Pure. It was like playing Untamed, Raw, and Easy.
Yeah.
Just before I created Southbound Foundation or Southbound Coalition. And I just recorded it myself, mixed it myself, and put it out, writing on the Memorex CDs, giving them away. And I got a little bit of traction with it, so then I started writing this tape called Crembonics, Hooked on Crembonics. And that was the first one where I got 5,000 copies, had like 22 songs on it, and I would really go, I'd hit the beat.
This is mid-late 2000, like 2007?
It's like 2006, 2007,
okay, gotcha.
And, really beating the pavement, hanging posters, selling CDs. I had this little gimmick where, because back then there wasn't a lot of Latino or light-skinned rappers at all in my area. Like I stood out like a sore thumb.
Yeah.
But a strong thumb, like an Xbox thumb, because my game was pretty good. But I would rap for people, and I'd make them a deal like, if you like the tape, buy it. I'm going to spit something for you. If you don't, go on about your business. And that ended up working for me a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And see, back then, man, that's what I've talked about with other artists on these interviews that had to go through that time frame. They don't really, like, and I know it's because we're older, but like the kids that's coming up now it's so much easier, bro, to get seen or to get. You could drop a freestyle or something and put it up on TikTok, and the next day you wake up and you've got 500,000 streams. You know what I mean?
Right.
But like that grind with the CDs, because you bought all those CDs hoping you could sell them all, or feeling like I've got to sell all these. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. But like now it's just different. Everything kind of is just different.
Sure.
But that physical CD grind was different. It was a whole other ball game back then.
Right.
Dude.
Speaking of freestyle, didn't you film the Jelly Roll 10-minute freestyle?
Yeah, 10-minute freestyle, man. Like a day or two after he got out of jail. He got a touchscreen phone. We got him a touchscreen phone. None of us even knew how to use it.
Right.
Because all of us still had LG chocolate phones or sidekicks.
Yeah.
And there wasn't no buttons on it. And we were like, bro, how are you going to use it? He's like, we'll have to figure it out. And he would always freestyle. And I had that Sony Handycam, bro. And it was when he was cutting music, but he still had a curfew. So he was kind of having to work around it. And he was just freestyling one day. And
You push record and
yeah, man.
Rest
and then
is history.
Yeah, for sure. And what was crazy is my camera died, and he was still going way after. And that was back when YouTube could only do 10-minute videos. You couldn't post more than 10 minutes. That's why it cut off, because like he kept going, but we couldn't. And I didn't want to break it up into 2 videos. So I was like, we'll just leave it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy, man.
That's wild.
Yeah. So you started putting out those projects, and then after the one that you got the 5,000 copies pressed up, did you see things start to kind of slowly like elevate for you?
Yeah. I got an opportunity to get a deal like around 04, 05 with this record label called Blue Sky Records.
Yeah.
And it was a subsidiary of Bodyhead Entertainment. Because, Roy Jones. Yeah, so in 2004, that's when Universal backed Roy, and he released Bodyhead Bangers Volume 1.
Was that y'all must forgot on there and all that?
Yeah, it was I Smoke, I Drink.
Yep.
And Can't Be Stopped.
Can't Be Stopped, yeah.
So Universal, he had a joint venture with Universal, and he was also on the cover of Fight Night 2004.
Yep.
It was same era, so a fella I knew who had, some good ties with them, we would go to that same studio where Roy had it off of Klinger and record. So I remember the first time I went in the studio and Magic was in there, Long Live Magic. Because he was signed to Roy at the time.
He's about Mr. Magic used to be with No Limit.
Correct.
Yeah, RP.
RP Magic. So, and I had bought a beat with him on the beat, kind of doing some type,
Yeah.
And so I remember that was just, I was like, damn, I'm with Magic. I saw his pen and pad, I was like, damn, and Trouble, Magic, and Chopper as well was signed. Yeah. To
Chopper style Chopper?
Yeah,
that's fire, dude.
Yeah, that's the homie.
That was like that, and that was like, because he was in that new, kind of like the new wave of No Limit when they came back out with the 504 Boys with Tebow and all them.
Yeah.
I feel like that's when Chopper had came around, but that's dope.
Shout out to Tebow, we got a record.
Oh, dope, yeah.
Yeah, that's the homie.
Hell yeah, firecracker, dog.
Yeah, shout out to Tebow.
Yeah, man. I see where he's putting out new music, too. It sounds dope,
yeah,
too.
man, you go check out that Tebow Paperboy. It's fire, man.
Yeah.
Paperboy, it's fire, yeah.
For sure.
He's solid.
So, now that we're kind of into a spot now where we're like talking about stuff that's on streaming platforms, you said the first project would be Creative Display. Would that be your first one that you would say is your first solo venture that people can go and tap into like right now on the streaming platforms?
Yeah. I released one, Criminal Mind, a few years prior to that. But Creative Display collectively was the best body of work, I feel like.
Yeah.
That was 25 records, a few skits, some drops. And we cooked that in Kissimmee, Florida. Long live my brother Basement Beats, man. He Justin, he was a great friend of mine, phenomenal engineer. We probably cooked 4 albums together.
Oh,
but
man.
he helped engineer. Him and I cooked that Creative Display tape, man.
Oh, dope.
Yeah, he featured on there, matter of fact.
Yeah. That's dope, man. So that was, and then we'll, as the interview goes on, we'll flash the album covers and stuff on the screen.
Dope.
Where people will be able to know what to like look for.
For sure. Cool.
And then, so the CremRo and Friends stuff, is that just collab stuff that you was doing?
Yeah. So every few years I release CremRo and Friends, and it's just a collaborative project. Every record has a feature. Yeah. So that way we can cross network. I can inherit some of their fans. They can inherit some of ours, and it just shows love to both camps. You know what I'm saying?
No, for sure. Back then, bro. I mean, that was kind of like what I like to do collabs a lot too. Back in the days on the same.
Yeah. I see you just dropped the one with One.
Yeah, man. One just dropped.
That's fire.
Just dropped our project. His solo EP's out now too.
That's fire.
And so yeah, we're already working on the second one.
Nice.
So you dropped the CremRo and Friends. So Criminology, was that the next solo project?
It was.
Okay.
Yeah, Criminology was post Creative Display. And that was, I don't think I had any features on that tape. That was just me focusing on myself, but it was, I've had a few people tell me that's where they felt I was really growing as an artist.
Yeah.
Yeah, Criminology.
And that dropped 2017, so there's that, in that time frame where, I guess between the last one and this one, you were still cutting music and all that stuff, right?
Yeah, I had some legal issues during that time and some relocating issues. So from like 2013 to 2015, I didn't release any music. Yeah. But I dropped CremRo and Friends 2 in 2015.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, and that had Jelly on it, White on it, Stack on it, a lot of great artists. Whoop had a lot of great artists.
Oh yeah, I see it on here. Okay.
Yeah. So that was in 15, and then we followed CremRo and Friends 2 with Criminology in 17.
You toured a lot with Stack.
Sure.
How did you meet Stack and Jelly? How did all that come about?
So in 2012, I bought a feature from Stack.
Mm-hmm.
Into 2013, his management touched base with me, asked me if I was interested in going on tour.
Mm-hmm.
And while I was on tour with Stack, a lot of the promoters would add Jelly to the shows.
Yep.
And they'd add White sometimes as well.
Yep.
I remember doing shows where they were like a tri-headliner.
Yep, crazy.
Like, crazy.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
you know, it's like, at this day and age, imagine them on the same stage.
Yeah, bro.
You know, whether that'll happen, I don't know, but
Yeah.
that was a crazy experience. So at that time, shout out to Highlight. Highlight was DJing for Jelly.
Mm-hmm.
Doobie and
Mm-hmm.
Crash and them boys were opening up for Jelly.
Yep.
And then I was opening up for Stack.
Mm-hmm.
So many times when we were all on the same bill,
Yep.
we met each other, chop it up. You know, long live Big Mike. That was my big bro, man. But
Yeah.
you know, just seeing how they moved as a unit
Mm-hmm.
and how strong they were and how committed they were,
Mm-hmm.
I just soaked that knowledge up. You
That's
heard me?
dope.
And to this day, I try to give it to my brothers, like the unity and working together and striving for the greater good. I mean, I remember Jelly was sleeping in the van,
Yep.
you know, and we were sleeping in our van. And now to see where he's at, it's just incredible. But he deserves everything that's come to him. But yeah, that era right there of just watching militant movement of those teams just taught me so much, man. And CremRo and Friends 3 is almost finished. It's titled Relationships. That's why I was telling you I got the sticks on there.
Yeah.
That art record's gonna go on there.
Fire, dude.
Yeah, so that'll be coming at the end of this year.
Oh, that's dope, dude.
Yeah, September rather.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're on, and then after that, so would Smith be the next solo project, 2020?
Let me see. Yep, Smith. Yeah, which is an acronym for Some Make It to Heaven or Some Make It to Hell.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Yeah.
Acronymically, that's how that's built.
Yeah, and you had Ritz and Kasky on there?
The only 2 features on that tape. Yeah.
Yeah.
Powerful records. And those 2 guys still are the homies. You know, I look up to those guys a lot. They've taught me a lot, and they both still moving and working.
No, for sure, dude.
Yeah. Ritz about to drop on the 7th on my C-Day, his new album. And he's
Yeah.
touring right now. And I'll see Kasky on April 1st in Georgia.
That's dope, dude. Yeah, you did. So, did you start doing any touring like in any of this time frame that we've been talking about? Was you doing shows and stuff in and out of town? I know that for a while that you were touring with groups. When you touring with like Stack and them like back in the day?
Yeah. Me and Stack were on the same label.
Yeah.
So how that cultivated is I bought a feature from him.
Mm-hmm.
Had a record called Real Good Rapper.
Yeah.
And I bought a feature from him in like 2012.
Mm-hmm.
And then they called me at the end of 13 and asked me if I wanted to go do 4 shows. And all 4 of the shows were out of state. You know, Kentucky, Ohio, Michigan,
Yeah.
something like that. And I had only really done shows in the Southeast my whole life.
Yeah.
So I took the opportunity, and 4 turned to 10, 10 turned to 20. We ended up doing over 180 that year.
Oh,
And that,
dang.
that was the Walking Tall, and you know, like we were discussing.
What
That's how I
time?
met
What time was
Jelly
that?
on
What time frame was
2014.
that? Okay.
Yeah,
Got you.
yeah. We started in February, and we didn't end until November. We had 4 legs of that tour. That shit crazy. I
Yeah,
learned
it
a
is.
lot, man.
Yeah, it is crazy, man.
Yeah.
How did that take a toll on you doing that many shows? Like being that, I'm sure that probably it tests your toughness, like mental and physical toughness. Probably having.
Man, I
that
felt
many
like you
shows.
say, show and prove.
Yeah.
I felt like that was my time, though. You
No,
know, I felt
absolutely.
like it was like time to go to work, and I just kind of shut up and worked. You know, I was carrying bags, I was changing tires on trailers, but I was rapping every night. And I
Yeah.
tell people all the time, it was like college for me. It was a collegiate experience because every city we hit, out of all the 42 states, was like another college campus. Every venue was another classroom. Every promoter was another teacher or student, you know?
Yeah.
So I just made sure to try to build rapport
Yeah.
and gain those relationships. And I still honor those relationships 10 years almost. I still work with some of those promoters to this day.
That's dope though, man.
Mm-hmm.
And it's dope that you take that kind of approach to it because that's the best way to do it because you're kind of in that stage where you're just trying to show, like you said, show and prove what you got and see how you can grow your brand.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I actually paid for the first couple of shows with Stack and
Yeah.
them. But I knew once they saw me rap and they saw these people gravitate to my music,
Mm-hmm.
I knew they would eventually be like, all right, we're going to let Lil Bro ride. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I ended up started getting paid a little bit. But like I said, that was like where I cut my teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was out there with them.
Yeah, for sure. Especially that doing that many shows in a year's time frame, man. That's
Yeah.
from an independent standpoint because That's a lot of shows, bro. I mean, that's damn, it's a show every 2 days.
It was crazy, man.
Yeah.
I think the longest we stayed gone was like 65 days at one time. Mm-hmm. We did like 45 shows in 65 days.
Man, dude.
And it was it was pressure though. It taught me a lot, man.
Yeah. So this is a question too that is I asked almost every guest now. Like, when the pandemic hit in 2020, how did that personally affect you? Not only as an artist, but just in general, because a lot of people, it was kind of a make or break time for content creators and artists.
Right.
So how did that go for you with everything?
Well, I was in a particular circumstance when COVID hit. So we were in Kissimmee, my dad and I, and we had sold a house and we were moving back to the Panhandle. So we relocated right before COVID hit. Thank God, like we got a house, a condo or whatever right before it hit. So when it hit, we had just relocated to our new place. But I just started selling those masks, man.
Yep.
You know, when it hit, not to downplay COVID or, anybody who passed away from that, it was a horrible thing. But I just tried to find the upside, man. I'm like, everybody's forced to wear these masks. I started pressing masks.
Yep.
And, USPS hustle,
No, for sure, man.
And people were purchasing them. They were taking selfies or crelfies with them. They were sending them to me. And that's how I would market that product.
Yeah.
But I think we handled it well. I did a few virtual shows, but we're from Florida, man, so we were like the last one. I was gonna
say, you being where you were at it wasn't near as bad as it would have been, like, even here, bro. Like, it got, because now it's starting to Nashville's starting to kind of get more and more like on that other side of things, where it's like they're getting more strict on stuff like that. So it was different. But being in Florida, I was gonna say it probably wasn't as rough, but.
Yeah, we were the last one to lock down and the first one to open up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So,
hell yeah. And is that when so I know you dropped Florida Water in September of 21. Now was any of those track stuff that you wrote and stuff during COVID, or was that stuff after the fact?
Some of them I wrote during the pandemic.
Yeah.
Yeah. I experienced a couple detrimental, life-changing events from 19 to 22. Losing my mama, losing my uncle, losing my niece, losing my pops. Like, yeah, it was crazy. 19, I lost my mama. 20, I lost my only blood uncle. 21, I lost my 16-year-old niece. And 22, I lost my daddy. Yeah, so I was just like, I had to really like poke my chest out, man up, and get to work. But out of that, we had a blessing. Me and my girl, we had our daughter. So like that was a big blessing that kind of put my head back above the Florida water, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man, because, that, dealing with that many losses in that time frame, man, I'm sorry to hear that, bro. That's,
hey, I appreciate it.
But the fact that she was able to find some kind of positive light in it, which your daughter, that's a great thing, that at least, like you said, was blessed with that in the midst of all that loss,
Yeah.
And in Florida Water, man, you dropped 2021. And that's a super dope project, bro.
Thank you.
Yeah, dude. That's was it 10 tracks on that one?
It was
10. Yeah.
Yeah,
dude. So like when you dropped Florida Water, in the midst of doing all this stuff, like you're collabing, you're still doing shows when you can and stuff like that. That's the last solo project you've released currently, correct?
Correct.
And then now what you're working on now is just the
CremRotions.
Oh, the CremRotions. Okay.
CremRotions, yeah. It's almost finished. Just got to get some touches on the mastering, but it's powerful. It really came out of a lot of that loss, so I feel like it's going to be the win. I've been taking some hits. This is going to be the fresh breath of air, and then that win.
No, for sure, dude.
I believe in this album a lot.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
And currently, like you've been going out and doing some shows currently, like you've been taking, because we're catching you on the way back from a few shows, right?
Right, yeah. We on the road right now, man. Weekend Warrior.
Yeah.
We did Kansas City on Friday and then Topeka on Saturday. And, touching back, those are markets that I got from Jelly and Stack.
Yep.
And because my music resonated with those people, it's been almost a decade and I'm still able to work with those type of individuals, The club might change or the venue might change, but if the promoters are still alive and working, our relationship is still intact. And now I'm getting the opportunity to bring my brothers on the road with me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like all the knowledge I gained from the OGs and the big homies, I'm blessing my brothers with that knowledge so they can go out and see the world and do shows and create a fan base.
Yeah. And that's dope, man, because that's dope that you bring it full circle like that, because being on the other side of it, like what they're going through right now as far as being able to come out and showcase what they got. And you're kind of the one that's showing them the ropes, I guess you could say.
Sure.
It's kind of like what you went through 10 plus years ago, almost 10 years ago.
Yeah.
On them shows.
And we were staying in, roaches in the shower hotels and showering at truck stops. We weren't on the 9th floor of the Sheraton downtown Nashville. It's a blessing, man. But that's what it's all about, bro, is to allow your team to cut their teeth and, allow them to learn with you. I feel like putting that fat on each other's brain is just powerful. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, man, because especially now, dude, because the way that things are constantly, especially with everything being, everybody wants more content and they want it faster than they've ever. Right. They want more of it, and they want it faster than it's ever been demanded.
Sure.
So it's like you've got to constantly be moving.
Sure.
Because back in the day, you could take a single or a couple of singles and ride a couple of singles out for 6-8 months.
A year.
Now, now if you take longer than 2 weeks between drops, people's like, where they go?
Oh, he fell off.
He fell off.
Yeah.
Is he going through something? Like, because everything now is that 15-second.
They want instant gratification. I tell people all the time that's what IG stand for. Not Instagram. They want instant gratification.
Yeah.
They want to continue to be able to scroll.
Yeah.
With just limitless.
Yeah.
And just we've been inundated with so much content the last 10 years.
Yeah.
And we were talking about we kind of the same age. Like,
yeah.
We are in a very special era when we saw the transition. We lived through the transition.
Yeah.
You heard me? Like, these kids now, they don't know what a house phone is. They don't know what a pager is. They don't even care to know about it.
Yeah.
We were in the studio last night. My partner had 40-something 8-tracks in an 8-track player. Mm-hmm. And I'm over there like an old man taking a picture of the 8-track player with a cell phone.
Yeah.
And it's just, the gears in my mind started turning. So it's crazy, man.
Yeah, it is crazy, dude. And like, you'll see videos online of like people trying to get their kids to figure out how to work a rotary phone, and they have no clue how to do it.
Yeah.
And it's like, bro, that's insane to think about. Like, but that's just how it is, though.
Yeah. Back in the day, the area codes were letters. Back in like our pops and era, like it was like the area code. You'd pull the phone off the wall, you'd ring that joint, and then the operator would come on, and you would tell them, "Oh, I want to call L Luther 348," and that would send your call down the street to whoever you're trying to connect with. So it's wild.
And now you can go to space on your phone, probably.
Yeah.
You can contact someone in space.
FaceTime Elon on that joint.
Yeah. So currently, you said you're working on the new solo project,
CremRo,
and you're working on the CremRo and Friends 3.
Yep. So we'll release CremRo and Friends 3 first, and then follow it with CremRo.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And when this is being filmed, you're about to drop a new. You said a new single.
Yeah. I got one called "Down With You" with the Sticks. Mm-hmm. We just released ours, and it's doing pretty well, man. The Leave Me Alone remix that I got you on.
Yeah, dude.
And then I got a record with Tebow. Ultimately, I'm going to release a few singles that are going to be a part of the CremRo and Friends 3 project.
Yeah.
Just to gain some momentum, power up some steam, and shoot a few videos. Like I said, Tebow's on there. Young Bleed.
I got you do that there, Young Bleed?
Young Bleed, man. I got some Baton Rouge legends on there, bro. Ray Vicks, about to secure one with him.
Yeah.
So, and like Tebow, they all from Baton Rouge, so some pressure. And then like on the other side of the spectrum, the Sticks, you. So, I'm trying to touch on different avenues of fan bases and network with everybody, and I feel like just sprinkling that type of creme seasoning is gonna, create a good recipe. You know what I'm saying?
No, for sure, dude, and that's a good way to do it too. To the CremRo and Friends doing those collabs and putting those out and stuff like that is just gonna be good promotion for when you drop that solo joint.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So that's a good way to do it. What's in the future, man? Other than what you got doing, what we just talked about. What else, when people, ask about CremRo Smith, what do you want them to be on the lookout for, other than those two things? Just more work?
More work, and I'm crossing my fingers on. I'm trying to develop like a escuela, like a school for Southbound Foundation. So me and my cousin were having this talk the other day, and it's so relevant right now. It's like, okay, you want to be the best rapper or musician or artist or director. Once you become the best, then what? Like once you have it, then what are you gonna do with it? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Everybody can get rich, everybody can get there, but how you gonna maintain, sustain, how you gonna keep it, you know?
Yeah.
So, you know, probably 10 years from now, I believe I'll have a creative therapy college of sorts for Southbound Foundation where the troubled youth or just the youth in general can come, can learn, you know, can create, produce, shoot film, cut, edit, record, and just have a plethora of knowledge through music and also some creative therapy. One of my partners, he recorded at the Navy base, you know, with wounded warriors and wounded soldiers, and a lot of those guys have created a testimony like, man, this music has helped me get off of PTSD medication and helped me, you know, quit drinking as much, etc. So I really feel the music is powerful. So to answer your question, man, in the next 5 years, I want to have a college situation, so to speak, where people can come and learn and we can instruct them, you know.
Yeah, man, that's dope, bro. And that's good that you was able to talk about that, because you're right in the sense of so many people are worried about getting the bag, but nobody ever talks about getting the bag and then like it's all about just being the best or getting what you're going to do with it to benefit others. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
That's dope. You know, and the way that you work and your talent, that's not something you're going to have to worry about not being able to accomplish.
Sure.
As long as you just keep pushing. Dog.
Yeah, I just secured a building. Me and a business partner of mine right before we left. Matter of fact, you know, I went and got the keys to it.
Yeah.
So now I have a creative space because I've been cooking all my own merch and recording all my own music for a long time out the house.
Out the mud, dog.
Out the mud, you know, out the cola concrete. So now to have a creative space or an office space, you know, to build and to relocate to, you know, throughout the week, it's just gonna. I feel like things are just gonna level up in a great direction.
No, for sure, dude.
Yeah.
This has been dope, man. This is it's dope that you've been able to tell your story. And granted, we're gonna we'll link up again. I know you'll end up coming on the podcast as well. Yeah. And that'll be more of us. You know, the podcast is more conversational, shoot the shit type stuff too.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the fact that people were able to get a glimpse into your come up and like how you got to where you're at, and I think that it could change people, because there's everybody that's watching this stuff, man. You don't ever really know what people are watching. You'll see a number on the screen as to how many people have looked at it, but you don't know where those numbers are at. As far as one of those views could be somebody that's fixing to give up, and you know what I mean. You just don't. And a lot of the times, bro, we don't ever think about that. I don't. Like, especially with music, like you said, people saying it helped them get over PTSD and stuff like that.
Sure.
When we put the music out, we want people to hear it, but we don't really grasp like who it's affecting. Right. You know what I'm saying? And I think that that's something that you have a lot of knowledge, dog, and like you being able to share that with people is going to impact them in a positive way. I feel like.
Sure. I agree, and I appreciate that. And shout out to y'all's podcast, man. You know, I know we don't know each other that well, but I love seeing people win. Like, that's just the type of individual I am. Yeah. And to see how far y'all come with the podcast and it just elevate. Every time I see, hey, we're number 8, we're number 5, and shit, I'm like, hey, man, then the homies right there. So.
Yeah, we staying in their face, man. We're like, we'll drop a few spots, but then we jump back. Like, when this is being filmed, we're still number 10.
Okay.
But yesterday we were number 14, and then it kind of just bounces around. So
right.
We're staying in them conversations, man. So that's a blessing for sure.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to coming in and sitting down and chopping it up with y'all.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be fun, dude.
Absolutely.
And I just appreciate you stopping through, man, and us being able to get this dope ass interview together. And we'll have all your socials linked in the description.
Already.
In the comments, y'all be sure to follow him on Instagram, subscribe to him, and we'll put his music links and we'll put all that stuff in there. So y'all be sure to tap in.
Sure. With
CremRo Smith and just stay tuned, because like I said, when this is being uploaded and dropped, he has a single out that'll be out with the Sticks.
Yeah, that's coming, called Down With You. Chad and I have one called Leave Me Alone, which is fire.
Yeah.
I got one with Tebow coming called Crazy Year.
Mm-hmm.
You know, CremRo and Friends 3 is going to be special.
Yeah, for
sure. And then once I follow it up with Promotions, I feel like it's going to be a game changer.
Yeah.
Game changer, man. These are some very, very powerful records and cinematic, to say the least, man.
Yeah, man.
And, you know, CremRo.com is my site. You can get all of the that's the hangout spot. So merchandise, show dates, stream music, watch videos. You know, you can subscribe to that as well to get the newsletter, Southbound Foundation newsletter. So that's just a cool spot where you can engage and get involved, you know.
No, yeah, for sure, man. Well, again, dude, ChadArmesTV, anybody that's tuning in, y'all be sure to tap in with CremRo Smith and follow him on all the social platforms and just keep that train moving, dog. You on the right track, dog.
Already, man. I appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, man. All love.
Love.